Hello everybody and welcome! I can't believe it's here. It's episode 1 of the Daily Language Diary Season 2 and you're gonna spend a whole month with me getting the new year off to a wonderful start. So let's jump in. I am so excited for this month. It's gonna be so fun, and I promise you, every single one of us, we're gonna have a great January and a great start to the year. So, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I don't have a plan. My only plan is just to enjoy being here, enjoy sharing, and just see how the month plays out. And I just wanna enjoy filmmaking again, without the pressure of trying to be fancy or anything, like just simply a love of storytelling and a phone. That's it. So why don't we talk a little bit about what you can expect in the coming month? So my favorite thing about season 1 of the Daily Language Diary was how interactive and engaging that it was. I loved having all the comments and actually responding to comments in the videos every day. So I really would love to keep that spirit alive. And so I would just love to hear from you throughout the month. How is your month going? What are your goals for the new year? Just anything you want to say, any questions you might have. And I really want to keep this very interactive and engaging for you all. Now, the thing that I didn't like as much about season 1 is that it was very static. It was mostly just me sitting in front of the camera. And so I would like season 2 to be more of a vlog format. And I'm gonna try my best to really make it interesting. I'm gonna take you on some adventures around London, which I think could be really fun also for me, because to be honest, I have mostly just been home studying and working on all my projects. So I think it would be a fun way for all of us to get out and see the city. But there are gonna be some days where the videos might be quite short because it's a lot to do this every single day. And I do have a job that I need to go to a few days a week. So please forgive me if they are short some of the days. I'm just gonna focus on making sure that I show up and I'm here. Cheers. So throughout the month of January, I'll be studying French, and I can't even begin to describe to you how exciting this is for me. And I think one of the things I hope to do this month is find ways to just share with you how much I love the French language and how much it has enriched my life. And I just look forward to entering a whole new chapter of that. In case you're not familiar, French was my best foreign language after Japanese. Both of them were languages that I just had an enormous amount of life experiences with. In Japanese, I lived in Japan. I worked as an interpreter, a translator. I worked as a barista in a cafe. I attended university, all in Japanese. And perhaps most importantly, I had this wonderful experience where I truly integrated into society in Fukuoka, and I was accepted there. And it was just like the most magical time of my life. And I look forward to hopefully diving back into Japanese, perhaps in season 3 or 4 or 5 of this daily diary. But after Japanese came French. And I think my French, I took it even further. I discovered so many things about myself through studying French. For example, I didn't really ever read a lot of fiction growing up, but it was through learning French that I discovered my love for reading novels. And I've now read more novels in French than I have in English. And I was learning French at an extremely pivotal time in my life, and it accompanied me through so much growth and just discovery. I moved around different countries on this journey trying to live in France, which actually never happened. I came close a couple times and there's some really fun stories there, but I never managed to settle down in France. I did work as a customer support agent for Expedia France in Lisbon, Portugal. And so I was answering phones all day long in French to angry travelers. That was a fascinating language learning activity. I actually was once writing a novel in French, and I read a book about how to write novels in French. And I thought that would be a super cool thing to do one day, you know, writing a novel directly in a different language. I've watched so many films in French, and at one point, honestly, I was so embedded in the French-speaking world. I knew more authors, actors, and actresses, history, philosophers, like I knew more about all these things in the French-speaking world because I was just so embedded in it, and I surrounded myself with all of those wonderful things, and I missed that. It was a really beautiful time in my life, and at the end of 2016, I would say that was the peak of my French learning, but that's when I started writing my book about how to maintain languages. And I kind of then spent the next 9 years really focused on building things and making things for language learners. And so during that entire period, I just didn't have as much time for my own language learning. So I focused on learning Mandarin for most of that time. And then last year, I mostly focused on learning Cantonese. So I've just been waiting this whole time to get back to French. There's been moments when I got back to Spanish several times, Italian. I documented myself getting back into German back in 2020. I've done other languages throughout that period, but I've always been saving French because it is just so special to me. And so it's kind of funny because I think French accompanied me through so much development into the person I am today. And so it's been so strange to just have so much time apart from it. And I guess in some ways it was probably a mistake to just keep waiting and waiting and waiting. I don't regret it per se. I think it's a good opportunity to learn and for me to just realize that there's no use in waiting for the most special things. There's no use in putting off something you love that much and that you know is going to bring you so much joy because you're just waiting for the right time or a better time. I just really look forward to seeing how this month plays out, and I hope I'll find opportunities to just share how much this language means to me. And now I'm going to tell you a little bit about my approach for how I'm going to study French this month. And to be honest, I'm not really sure. I can tell you that I'm gonna start by going all the way back to basics. I'm gonna actually log into Babbel, which I have a lifetime subscription that I bought years ago, and I'm actually just gonna start right at the beginning. And I don't know exactly how long I will stay there. A lot of people do always find it surprising that when I go back to a language, I do tend to actually go all the way back to the start. But part of that is because I kind of want to discover the gaps that I have now. I want to find the things I've forgotten. And for me, I just get a lot of comfort in knowing that I'm going all the way back. So I'm going to really find all the things that I have forgotten in the basics. But the other reason why I love to go back to basics is because honestly, it turns this into a wonderful opportunity to sort of relive the joy of being a beginner. When I look back on learning Japanese, learning French, Spanish, Italian, German, and so on, every single one of those I just mentioned, it's a completely unique story. It was a different time in my life, and it felt so wonderful, so exciting. It was such an adventure. But every time it was so different. And sometimes I miss being a beginner. I often look back so fondly on the journey. And so I feel like while sometimes it's frustrating when we have had to take a pause and we have gotten rusty and our skills are not as good as they used to be, like my French is probably so rusty. And so I could feel frustrated that I haven't kept up those skills. But I like how this gives me an opportunity to relive the joy of being a beginner. And so that's why I'm gonna go back and start at the very beginning. And I'm pretty sure throughout the month, I'm gonna wanna move on. I'm gonna wanna open some of the books that I used to love, maybe some of the ones I've read in the past, maybe some of the ones that I was halfway through. I actually still have my bookmarks in the same spot for some of the books that I was reading at the time when I stopped learning French. I think I'm gonna wanna go back and watch some of my favorite French films and perhaps discover some new ones. And maybe that's where I can get your help if some of you have recommendations. I just know that throughout the month, a lot of interesting things are gonna happen, but I don't know what those are gonna be. And I think that's really beautiful. Part of me is a little anxious that maybe I'll run out of interesting things to talk about in these daily diaries, but I do believe that this uncertainty and the way this is going to be so organic and authentic, I think that ultimately is what's going to make this so much fun. Now, as you may know, the greatest passion in my life at this point is hand-drawn animation. I love it so much, and it has truly added so much to my life, and I do have this deep desire inside of me to share that love and that passion with you at some point. So while these videos are definitely going to be focused on my French and my daily language learning, I do really want to try to find a way throughout the month to just sprinkle in bits of joy from my animation, drawing, and illustration journey, because that is going to be a huge priority for me in 2026. Last year, I really focused in on improving all the skills that I needed to learn to be a better animator. And I even took several months away from animating just to focus on drawing and illustrating and finding more of my artistic voice and developing all kinds of skills that I hope will make me a better animator. But I didn't really get to make a lot of finished animation work, and I just have this incredible amount of inspiration and excitement and energy built up inside of me that I really want to find ways to express in the new year. So I just really wanted to mention that, I think I'm going to start by just sharing daily drawings with you and a nice gratitude statement. But as I start to finish more and more animation work throughout the month, I may start sprinkling those things in as well. Long term, I do really want this YouTube channel to also be a way that I can express the art that I create. And so I just want to say I really appreciate you sticking around for that. And I'm happy to get feedback from you so that over time I can have these things live together so that animation and illustration can support my language learning content and only make it more engaging and more fun. All right, that's all I have for you today. I think I'm gonna leave it here. I need to make sure that these are manageable for me to create every single day. So I think now I'm gonna actually get started on my French studies, and then tomorrow I'll come back and I'll share with you how it went. All right, everybody, I hope you're as excited as I am, and I really would love to hear from you in the comments. What are your goals for 2026? What are you most excited about? And please do let me know what I can do to make this as much fun as possible for you. Happy New Year, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Bonjour Charles.
Bonjour Charles.
Bonjour Laure, bienvenue à Paris.
Bonjour Laure. Bienvenue à Paris.
Ça va?
Ça va?
Super, merci.
Super, merci.